What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a round balsa lure just like this. I had a guy on Facebook ask me if I was going to do a video on this. I told him I'd go ahead and do one. So first off, you're going to want the shape that you want in a piece of balsa that's a 1 inch thick. Go ahead and cut your shape out and we'll go from there. Alright guys, now that you have a piece of 1 inch thick balsa wood, and I had two pieces a 1/2 inch that I glued together because I didn't have a block like I did when I built this one, but it'll work the same way, and we have a center line. So what we want to do is find the center here. I'm going to come in to about half of that 1/2 inch on the back, and on the front you got your tip. Okay, you're going to want to, and you can shape this however you want, and I kind of eyeball it. Go ahead and round this, bring this back and let it meet that point. You do want these two sides the same, so if you wanted, you can take a piece of paper with a curve on it and you set it over here, trace that curve and trace that curve. Now let's go over to the sander and I'll show you how easy this is without all that. Now you can see it's somewhat rounded, but I'm gonna make this tip more pointy, and I'm gonna kind of contour these edges, and this is all we gotta do, is hold it on the sander and do this, okay? So you can see this side's now rounded. And I'm gonna do the same to this side, and I'll see you back on the table. So guys, as you can see, I pretty much got this the same on both sides, top and bottom. Now what I wanna do is round the edges over. And all I do is take my pen, I hold my finger like this, and I'll draw a line. And you don't even need these lines, really. I mean, just take the edges off. But I do these as reference points. That's really the only reason why I do the lines. They ain't gotta be perfect. Because like I said, they're getting cut off. As long as I can kind of see what's going on, I'm good. So now you guys can see this bait. We have our lines. And just to tell you, you don't have to sand this like this. You can easily take your blade and cut it. But I just find it much quicker and easier to sand it on the sander, so let's go ahead and cut this. If you're wondering what happened to my thumb, I was routering some flat-sided baits on the router, and I got my finger caught in the router blade, so that happened. Didn't feel too good, but it's good now. So like I said, just cut them edges out. Don't go too quick, because with this, the more you take off, you can mess up quick. So I try not to go too fast when I'm doing these. Okay, so you see I got the hard edges off, but it's still not round. So now what I'm gonna do is round it more. I'm gonna take even more off these bottom sides until I can get this flat part gone. And I'll do it on one side first. And on the sides here, take some off of them. Okay, you see this flat part here? We want that gone. So take this, and I'll cut. Well, I'll cut a more the surface here. Kind of cut this around this. Now we're gonna have to round this edge a little more. And you can kind of see as you go it getting round. Now we're gonna do the top part. I'm gonna cut this back. So you guys can see and I have a half rounded bait. Okay, do the same exact thing on the other side. Now I'll take a look at it just to see how symmetrical it is. And as you guys can see, this is pretty symmetrical. Looks pretty good. Got a piece here I ain't happy with. Thinking right in here. Take a little sliver off. And on my back side, trying to round that a little more. Okay. That looks pretty good. So now, let's take a piece of sandpaper to it. I'll take a piece of 100 grit sandpaper, and now what you'll do is just sand it. Sanding sponge would work great for this, so you don't get any hard pieces. Yeah guys, this is how I do all my round baits. Hand carve them and then sand them out. And I always try to keep this spinning when I'm sanding it, just to keep that roundness on it, okay? My hands are cramping. It's almost there. We almost got a rounded bait here. I've sanded, I think, 30 or 40 baits today, so my hands are pretty tired. Now we'll dust this off real quick. And there we have it. Nice round body bait. And this is a big old bait too. Same exact size as this one. Okay. So now we need to get this bait sealed up and we'll move on from there, y'all. We got it on our stick. As you guys see all these baits down here, man. I use sanding sealer. I put it in this pickle jar. I had a quart of it and I put it in this pickle jar. So I'll take this. I'll take my bait and I'll stick it in here. I'll submerge it real good in there. I like to hold it in there for a few seconds. Let that wood soak up that sanding sealer real good. Okay. And now I'll take it and let that run off. Put this right here. Just like that. And we'll let that dude dry up and then we'll be ready to sand him. The lure is nice and dry now. And it'll feel kind of rough after dipping into that sanding sealer. So when you take a piece of sandpaper, and you just do this very lightly. You're just trying to knock down like the hard bumps. You don't have to get super in depth when doing this part. Okay. You're not trying to shape it, you're just trying to knock down the hard edges. So just go ahead and do this. And that's done. Pull that off, hit this part. Okay. There we have it. A nice smooth, I'll wipe the dust off. A nice smooth body. Okay. Now we're ready for a belly weight hole. Let's get that done. I got my thumb caught in a router bit. Luckily it wasn't any worse than that. Let's go ahead and drill this belly weight hole, y'all. Now we got our belly weight hole nice and centered. We go ahead and get a belly weight in this, and we'll get some epoxy on there. Now we're going to be using some 30-minute epoxy here, and I love this epoxy. It's super great stuff. If you guys wanted to foil these, you could before you done this. You foil it and then you put your epoxy over top of it. Go ahead and mix this up. Make sure you mix both parts equally. If you don't, you're gonna have your epoxy not setting up and it's gonna turn out really bad, and that sucks. So some guys measure it. I don't get that in depth with it, but now we can go ahead and coat the whole lure. What this will do is seal it a second time. Not only that, but it'll create a super smooth surface for paint. And your paint will go on so nice. You won't see any grain. Nothing like that. I've had a couple people comment that I could skip the sanding sealer step. Well, the reason why I like the sanding sealer is because it allows me to get this wood harder, and it allows me to get a nice smooth surface to start, and it's an extra preventative for water damage if water was to get inside of this bait. What we're trying to avoid is water getting inside of this thing. And I think since this spends its life in the water and getting abused by bass and stuff, it's a good thing to have a couple different sealers on there to make sure it don't get trapped. So we're going to put this on the turner. I'm going to give it a base coat of white. I'm just going to use some white airbrush paint, and then we'll get to painting it, guys. Some of the colors we're going to use, as you guys can see, I got this bait painted white, is a color change in black from Walmart. I mixed it up in this little bottle to reduce it down. A color change in purple, a fluorescent floral yellow, opaque sky blue, and of course orange. Let's go ahead and get the airbrush loaded up here. And first color we're going to start out with is the yellow. Let's get it. So you guys can kind of see what we got going on here. We got the white, the yellow, and the blue on the top showing. Okay, so now I want to take this purple and just do a thin line on the back here, and we'll be ready for the next step. Fix up my clear in here, but what I want to do is I'm thinking, let's see what color I want to put in here. I'm putting some glitter in here, and I think I'm going to do this green. I think it'll look good on that. So let's go ahead and get this mixed up. Once I get this all mixed, I'll be back. I put the epoxy in here, and then I put the glitter on it. So I put the green glitter in him. Let's watch this guy pop. There we have it. That glitter really makes these things look good, guys. I really like it. Not everyone will like the glitter bait, you know. I've done one just like this without glitter. So it has the color changing on top. This one's a little different with the speckles, but I mean, it's really personal preference, I believe. So let's get this guy on a turner, y'all. I went ahead and did the lip slot off camera, but I'm gonna show you guys how I did it because it's a round body. I actually forgot. So let me go ahead and show you that. So what I did was I set it in my flat body jig, just like so. I made sure it was pretty level. Turned it on and cut my slot. Comes out just like that. Make sure it's level. Don't tilt it. Make sure it's pretty much on its side and it's even and looks good. And cut it. So now let's get the bill in here and we'll work on the hook hanger points and we'll test this guy. The workbench is kind of messy, but in order to get my front hole in these, I got this little poker tool. This is how I like to mark it. I'll take and I'll mark right above where that bill's gonna go. And sometimes I like to just shove it in. Bore that out. There you go. Now you can take a drill bit and kind of clean that out and get that going. These lips, you can get them off of Jan's Netcraft or whatever. They go in here. We'll get this lip glued in here, and then I make my line ties. I got a video showing how I make these guys. We'll get these glued up and get them put in here as well. So that one will go there in the front. We'll go in there like so. Let's go ahead and get this dude glued up, and we can clean the eye out here, down here, get the hooks on him, and yeah, let me show you that part. Epoxy them in because that's how you get a nice solid bond. Let's go ahead and get these two parts mixed. The epoxy that I like to use is Bob Smith Quick Cure 5 minutes for my bills. I do the Bob Smith 30 minutes for the top coat. This is UV resistant. It's really good epoxy. So yeah, keep in mind this 5 minute stuff. Yeah, it don't give you 5 minutes to set up. I feel like it sets up quicker than that. So just keep that in mind. Like I don't use a measuring cup either, so it might be that I just put too much hardener in it. I don't know. So I'll go ahead, I'll take my bill and I'll dip it, kind of get some on that edge, let the drippage run off, just like so. Ready to stick this dude in here. Get him in there, and position him where you want him. And now I like to seal that gap. Okay, you see this, how it's built up? I'll let this I'll take my poker tool, kind of pull that down. Just to make sure these gaps are filled up, because I don't want any gaps in there for water to get into, and I want it sealed up real nice. Oh, my bad. So there's a lip put in him. Now we'll do the eyelets. Go ahead, put some on here. I'm using that epoxy. You screw this guy in here. Might have to get some pliers out. Make sure he's screwed in. I'll take my finger, kind of fill that gap in real good. Now there's the rear. Now we'll do the front. Make sure you get a nice bit of epoxy on there so that these set up good. I know I'm going off camera here, but I'm trying to get it at the angle that I need it. Okay. And Now I know from experience doing these freaking things, I'm gonna put an extra dab right here, just because sometimes it don't like to seal up right there. So I'll put some in that eye hook, and it'll seal up any kind of, put it right there in that eye hook, just so it'll seal up any holes, and we can clean that out later. So there he is with the lip and hook hangers installed. Once this guy's dried up, I'll show you me cleaning this out, cleaning that off, and tuning this dude up. And once he's tuned up, we'll take him, once we get him all squared away and the hooks on him, we'll take him down, we'll test him out and show you how he runs. I figured while that was drying up, I'd show you guys this. This is my new packaging for my lures. I do have a website I'm working on right now, and these will all be available on there. I'm working on all kinds of different combinations, color schemes, and styles. So once I get all of these finished and all my color combos done, I will post a link into these videos where you can go buy some of these, and also some of the bigger swim baits that I make. I'll have those on the site as well. So stay tuned for that. Now we'll wait until this dries and we'll get to it. All right guys, he's off the turner. The lip's in there good. As you can see, he's sealed up all around there. And now I'm gonna clean this hook hanger and this one just a little bit. And we'll get the hooks on this dude. We'll take him down. I'm gonna take him down to the river and I'm gonna test him out. We might have to tune him up a little bit. We'll see what kind of action this guy's got. I hate cleaning these things out. It's not too bad though. Got a nice clean hook hanger hole. Now on this one ain't too bad. As you guys can see, that's sealed real nice in there. There ain't no holes, no gaps or nothing. That's why I like to put a little dab on there like that. And then I'll kind of come in here with this and just hit it just like that. Got a little piece over here. There we go. Front hook hanger cleaned out. All our hook hangers are good. Let's go ahead and put the hooks on this dude. We'll take them to the river. So I like to start the hook like that while it's open still. I'll take it and put them both on at the same time. Kind of kill two birds with one stone, I reckon. I do have a pair of pliers for this, but they're in my tackle box. I don't have them with me. I think they're in my truck. Much good they're doing me out there. There we go. Got the hook hangers on this dude. So now let's take him to the river and see what kind of actions he's got. Well, y'all, got him down here at the river under the bridge, and I'm not sure how good this swim test is gonna do on this dude today because the current is unreal. I'll give you a video of this current, but let's go ahead and test this guy. All right, y'all, that swim test didn't go too good, not because of the bait, but because of the water and how muddy it is. I can't find a good spot. Hopefully I got good enough video footage of it though. But hey, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.